What do you think is the number one reason many people are passed over for promotions that they actually deserve? What do you think that reason is? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk to you about the one major reason that you might be getting passed over for your promotions, and these are promotions that you deserve. My name is Michael Williams, and here's that one major reason. It's communication skills. You say, well, how do you know that, Michael? Well, studies show it, surveys show it, but also my own personal experience in the last 13 years working with thousands of clients. There's this one thing that keeps them from getting promoted. I was just working with a client today, and she had started with me last year, but because of things that were happening in her life and job, she had to take a pause from our coaching. And she had a meeting with her managers, her supervisors, and her directors. And what they told her earlier this year is that, hey, all your numbers are on point. You're delivering. You're great. But there's one area that you're going to need to improve in. What do you think that area is? Communication. Her communication skills. And I have another example that I'll share with you in just a little bit. So you might be missing out on a promotion that you actually deserve. You have the experience. You have the skills. You have the knowledge. You have the longevity. You're delivering your numbers. But the one skill that's needed to move up, to break that glass ceiling, to get to that next level, is your communication skills. So we're going to talk about a couple of specific areas where most people are lacking, and I'll share those with you right now. One is in clarity. Clarity. And when I say clarity, I'm talking about two things. One, your style of speaking. Sometimes people speak very fast. Their pacing is very fast. So it becomes difficult for others to understand them. Now, we all have accents. So I have an accent if you're from another country. I have an accent if you're from another country. Then you have an accent, right? So we all have accents. If you're speaking with people who speak English and you're from another country, we don't want you to lose your accent. What we do want is for you to be able to speak clearly. So the words that you do know, the vocabulary that you do know, often these are people that have better vocabularies than me, but the vocabulary that you do know, we want you to enunciate, to articulate them clearly. Okay? So it doesn't matter if you have an accent or not. What matters is how clearly you articulate those words with and or using your accent. So clarity, the first part of it, has to do with how clearly you enunciate, you articulate your words. In Pro 90D, we have some very specific techniques that you can practice so that when you speak, it's clear, regardless of whether or not you have an accent. So clarity is one, that part of clarity. The other part of clarity is being precise and often being concise. So there are times where you might be speaking clear, but you might not be precise. You might not be using the words in a way that makes what you're saying clear and concise. So you might be throwing in a lot of words that don't need to be there. And a part of this comes from speaking too fast. One of the things that we've learned is that when you slow your speech down, you can actually be more concise and more precise. Therefore, you're speaking more efficiently and more effectively. I actually had a PhD student who said when he gave this presentation, when he used to stutter, stammer, speak too fast, it actually took him longer than when he slowed his speech down. He was more efficient with the usage of his words. So those are a couple of areas that most people get dinged on when they're speaking. Also, in terms of speaking style, sometimes people swallow their words or they mumble. And if you have an accent, that makes it even more difficult for other people to understand. And here's another area, structure. Sometimes people get off track, and we all do it from time to time, but they get off track. And so it's difficult for people to follow your logic. So speaking clearly in terms of your style, being able to enunciate or articulate, speaking slow enough so that you're not fire hosing people with a whole bunch of information, speaking for a long time, just really long phrases and stuff. You want people to be able to digest what you're saying, to hear what you're saying, your volume isn't too low or too high, to understand what you're saying, right? And then to be able to follow you logically. These are the major areas where if you can excel, where if you can improve in these areas, and trust me, when you work with us at Pro 90D, you can improve these areas very, very quickly. And it can be the difference between tens of thousands of dollars a year. Let me give you 2 examples. I was just working with a lady a couple of months ago. She had been working for this company for around 20 years, something like that, around 20 years. And she had been trying to move into a VP position. What do you think was holding her back? It wasn't her skill set, wasn't her experience, right? It wasn't her interpersonal skills, her communication. So she was referred to me by her niece, with whom I worked a couple of years ago. And we worked together, and she had an interview coming up. She did the interview. Her boss said, "You did a great job." She had multiple interviews because this was for a VP position at a huge multinational global company. She had multiple interviews, and she got the job. She got the job. She got the VP position just within the last couple of months. So let me give you another example. I was working with a young lady who was working in a particular industry where she did brain mapping, and she was looking for a job, looking for a particular job, and she went through a series of interviews, and because of her communication skills, now listen to this, she was able to get a job making $60,000 more, not $60,000 a year, $60,000 a year more than her previous jobs. It's roughly $5,000 a month more. So I just want to give you an example of the ROI. When you're thinking about investing in coaching or even our self-study, because you get both when you do the coaching, you also get the self-study. You're thinking about the ROI and you're wondering, Michael, are you just blabbing away? Is this just sales stuff? No, I'm dead serious. You can see the ROI. You can see it really, really quickly. So imagine that you get a promotion or you get a new job, and you just imagine you just get $2,000 more a month. Just $2,000. For some people, it'll be a lot more than that. $2,000 more. Within 1 to 2 months, you've already gotten a return on your investment. Let's just say you got our 8-week program at $19.97. Just $2,000. And we have a 6-month program that's just a little more than that, right? Even if you did that, within 2 months, you would get your investment back. Let's just say you did the basic one, $19.97, and you got a job, and you make $2,000 more per month. Now just follow this. Doesn't this just make sense? Well, you get your investment back in one paycheck, in 1 month. What happens the next month, and the next month, and the next month? It's just gravy, right? But not only do you get your return on that financial investment, but because you've moved up, because you're learning how to become an excellent speaker, your communication skills, your confidence, your ability to influence and be persuasive is growing, you are going to be positioning yourself to earn more and more and more. Doesn't this just make sense? Right? So you're helping yourself grow, not just for that first month or the second month or 6 months, for the rest of your life. It's the investment that just keeps on giving and keeps compounding. Okay. So because you've developed your skills, which used to be a liability for you perhaps, into an asset, now that asset is growing and it's paying you back dividends month after month, year after year. So I just wanted to share these recent examples these are all recent, Because some of you are wondering, you're on the fence, or you're doubting. You see a lot of people out there talking about a lot of things. I've been around coaching for 13 years, and I've helped lots and lots of people make lots and lots of money, from getting jobs to starting businesses to making more sales. And this is real. I know what I'm doing. And there's a scientifically based system that's the foundation of everything that we do. And we have probably hundreds of testimonials and reviews that are real, and some are very recent. And so if you want to work with someone who knows what they're doing, has the experience, that can relatively quickly get you from wherever you are to that place where you can get the promotions that you deserve, then I want to invite you to click the links in or around this video to do one of a few things. You can schedule a 15-minute session with me. You can schedule a 30-minute session with me if you know that you want to work with me in terms of coaching. We have those two options. Some people are like, I know I want to work with you one-on-one. I'm going to do you a 30-minute session. We can do a deep dive. But I also have a very quick 15-minute session where we'll go through a few things and you can see all the details there. Some of you may want to just start with our self-study, so we'll have a link there for you to do that. That's just $397. And there's a couple of bonuses in there for you that I want you to take a look at. So just think about the ROI. You might not believe me, and that's okay. But there are many people who have watched I think I have 1,000-some YouTube videos now. You've been watching me. I have 65,000 students. You've been watching me and you're wondering, is this guy for real? Does this work? Yes, I'm for real. Yes, this works. You can meet with me and you can be the judge for yourself. But don't let these opportunities pass you by when this can be fixed very quickly, and you can start to earn what you're worth and what you deserve. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Michael Williams, and we'll see you soon.